Alrighty, for this video, this is quite frankly a form examination video. I need all the help that I can get, so if any of you want to comment down below all the things that I'm doing wrong constructively, please let me know. I brought 10 fairway drivers, roughly between 6 and 9 speed. One of them is a Valkyrie, so it's 9 speed. Everything else is 6 to 8 speed. In fact, actually, once you get away from the Dragon and the Valkyrie, the rest of these are all 6 and 7 speed. These are the only speed fairway drivers that I will throw. And I'm going to list them on the screen real quick, but it's basically leopard, another leopard, TL, T-bird, another T-bird, a little bit heavier, a champion T-bird, a little bit more overstable, and allegedly better throwing because of the shape of the plastic, etc. An FD, a gazelle, modestly overstable, and a dragon, which is fairly understable and has, over the last year of use, due to all the nicks and usage that I've had on it, you know, I haven't used it a lot, but it's received a lot of damage because the type of plastic is relatively weak. This is relatively understable. And last but not least, a Valkyrie, something that I don't actually throw at all, period. It's in my reservation bag, which is everything 9 speed and higher, 9 to 14 speed, which I've forbidden myself from touching under my current conditions. So bottom line, I'm going to throw these discs a few times. You're going to see it from this angle, and I'm going to probably set up the camera in a different angle so you can see yet another set of throws. I'm going to do my best as a standstill thrower, just to throw. And I'm going to look at the video myself and probably provide a little bit of commentary either during or after, but I highly recommend anyone with, quite frankly, better disc throwing skills, please let me know in the comments below what I can do to be better, because I'm in the 170-foot average range with my standstill throws, and I can get over 200, but the most I've ever got is 250, and I was probably lucky to do that. Anyways, without further ado, I'm going to start throwing some discs. So for the purpose of this set of clips, I'm going to be throwing that away. I've got a marker down here set at a location which hopefully will provide decent camera work. I'm just going to try to throw. And I realize I need to do this a little bit and not do this, not do this, not do this, or anything crazy. Try to keep it simple. Trying to build form. Here we go. Now that's understable. I expected to do that. This is a slightly heavier version of the same disc. Hopefully I release it similarly. These leopards typically fly straight for me, but recently I've been turning them over more, which shows some ill-advised form on my part. I want you guys to catch what I'm doing wrong. TL. Well, I'm seeing a pattern of grip lock of some sort. It's not technically grip lock. I know it's a late release. It's not a complete chunking into the river. Still, it's pretty bad. That's kind of what I'm aiming for. I guess I'm just going to keep shanking them that way. That was me overcompensating for the late release by releasing too early. Slight hyzer on that. Keep in mind I wanted to release it straight. That was essentially the release that I wanted. Here's an understable disc. I've got a hyzer a little bit. Yeah, that was terrible. Valkyrie. Absolutely terrible release. Now I'm going to go retrieve the discs. In shame. Alrighty, I'm actually pretty fatigued from the previous video, and then wisely doing this immediately afterwards. I figured I'd be warmed up, but really what I am is tired. I'm going to throw these one more time. You're going to see my form from this point of view. Hopefully these two clips you can kind of critique to death. I want you to imagine I'm trying to release at the same timing and at the same angle of flat. And that's not what I'm doing. But that's what I'm trying. That turned a little bit and landed kind of what you would expect of the leopard flight path. But about 150 feet, maybe. Probably about 150. Another leopard, slightly heavier. We'll see if I can repeat that. That hyzered a tiny bit and basically never turned and resembled more of what you might expect from a T-bird or Thunderbird flight path. TL, a little bit more stable than the previous two. That did essentially a flex, very slight tilt, very slight tilt. That went really low because I didn't do the lining up thing, but it actually went straight, flipped a little bit. But it was low, so maybe about 140, 150 feet. About straight, curving slightly, acceptable. So this run of throws is a little bit better than the last one, which had a fairly wide degree of release. About a 40 degree left to right. This is about 20 so far, 20 degree. Shanked that a little bit. Released it about 20% that way. Hooked a little bit, but landed relatively straight. FD. Released on a hyzer, a little low. Went about 130, 120. I can delicately throw putters 100 feet better than this. So, slightly overstable disc. Released a little bit late, about 10, 15 degrees. Ended up about 5 degrees away from the perfectly straight. It's acceptable. Keep in mind, I'm trying to release exactly straight, but there's a variance in terms of left to right release between early and late release, which is about 15-20% at this point. So I'm trying to dial it in. This is very unstable, just like being a Speed 8. That worked out good. Very slight hyzer, very slight that direction, not that way, but that way. Hooked a little bit and then forward. Ended up about 5-7 degrees away from perfectly straight. That's acceptable. That's an error range that's acceptable because the outcome was within what I desired. Last, probably least, that was me just being silly, but it actually released completely straight. Didn't turn, faded, what you might expect a gazelle or T-bird flight path. Basically straight, it would be ending out about 15 degrees. So that's going to do it. Tear me up. What am I doing wrong? Let me count the ways. So I need your help. I just want to get better at this. I'm not expecting to drive 500 feet ever. I'm nearly 50. I just want to get better. I want to be more accurate, get a little bit further, and not throw my arm out. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.